so I'm gonna have an operation in about 45 days, and there's about a 2% chance I could die. There's about a 2% chance I'll come out dumber than a box of rocks because I got a stroke. And then after that, I gotta have about 3 more of those kinds of operations. So, all right, so, you know, we might be looking at the last of Grandpa here, and so that's why I'm gonna belabor you, take up your time. So, 30 years from now, you're gonna say, you know, my grandpa said something that was kind of wise and it didn't make any sense to me at the time, but now it does. So here's what it is. So I'm gonna give you a test, Catriel. And the test is, when the more that you know, the more information you have, the more interesting things that you see out there. And the less that you know, the fewer things show up as interesting. So when I go to your daddy's concerts, I don't know jack about music, so I fall asleep because I don't know music. So this is just a piece of dirt to you guys and of very little interest because you don't know anything. So I'm gonna see if I can wake you up. So Catriel, what did I just say about what's interesting?
The things you know. The more you know, the more you're interested in.
And
the less you know, the less you're interested in things.
the less, right. And so that's partly what's annoying about little kids is they don't know anything, so everything is boring. God, we're going to do something exciting. All right, so go take a look at this. See this funny cross right here? Mm-hmm. Eli, go tell me who's buried there.
Okay, here we go.
Can't read it.
Oh, geez. Yeah, it looks like Russian.
Yeah, all right. So do you know the name of that alphabet?
No.
It's a Cyrillic alphabet. It's named after Saint Cyril, who I think was Russian, and so he came up with his own alphabet, and all of the Slavic people use it. And the Slavic people go from northern Greece,
Wait,
Macedonia. What?
What's it called again?
Slavic.
No, the alphabet?
Cyrillic. Cyrillic, I believe. Okay. So these graves here are Cyrillic, and then all mixed in with them, come tell me what's this guy's name?
Raid
Close to you?
Balkovich.
Yeah.
With the boots?
Yep.
Raid Bokovich.
Bolkovich. Now, here's what's interesting. The stuff you can't read are Serbs. The stuff you can read are Croats. Some genius mixed them all up and buried them together. They have hated each other for thousands of years. So from about 3,000 years ago, the Croats, the ones you can read, were known as Illyrians, and the stuff you cannot read were known as the Macedonians. Alexander the Great came from Macedon. His father, Philip, was actually a more ingenious general than was Alexander, but he died young. So the Macedonians and the Illyrians have hated each other for 3,000 years, and here some genius has buried them all together. Now, so, you know, I find that fascinating that here they are, and where the hell are we? We're in the middle of Washington State. Why are there graves with a Cyrillic alphabet? Does anybody know that?
No.
These people came here to be coal miners. This was a coal mining town. So when they died, and if you were like to study the dates of some of these, some of them died all on the same day, either because of a mine accident or more frequently because of flu. Influenza would kill them. All right, so here's another thing that I find fascinating about this just little piece of dirt to you is with just a bunch of rocks sticking up. Look at that grave way over there. See that one way out there all by itself?
Oh, yeah.
There are no other graves around it. And he is Croat. So, the reason that's fascinating is the Croats are Roman Catholic. The Serbs here are Russian Orthodox or Greek Orthodox. So because the Croats are Roman Catholic, this would have been consecrated ground, meaning that some priest came out, sprinkled holy water on it, and said you can only be buried here if you're a good Catholic. Now, why would that son of a bitch be way over there?
Not Catholic.
Bad Catholic.
Bad Catholic. Now, what would make you a bad Catholic?
Sin.
Horse.
Suicide.
Oh.
Mostly suicide. Now, you know, maybe he got some other guy's wife pregnant, got shot, got himself shot in the process. Who knows? But most likely, that's a suicide way over there. So that come resurrection morning, he won't taint, he won't bring a stain on these beautiful people who are buried in consecrated ground. All right. Now, throughout this cemetery are nationalities. So we just talked about the Serbs and the Croats, who used to be Illyrians and Macedonians. But way over in here, there's Bohemia, which is used to be a nation in Central Europe. Doesn't exist anymore. I think after World War I, it got absorbed into other countries. I think there's Silesia, same as Bohemia, small. I think Galicia. So there are these different nationalities. Now, I think on the other side of the hill, or other side of the road on that hill over there, is the grave of a man named Yenkapol. And he was a judge when I was a lawyer in the Tri-Cities. And he's a descendant of the Basques. The Basques are a group of people who live in northern Spain, right up against the border with France. And they speak a language that's completely unrelated to all of the other European languages. The other European languages are called Indo-European. So even down in India, there are languages that are related to European languages, but not the Basque language. It's different from everything else. And then the Finns in Finland, and then some of the Hungarians, I think the Magyars, they speak, I think, what's called an Ugaritic language, and it's completely different from Indo-European. We don't know where the hell those languages came from, but there's Yenkapol and some Basques buried over there. Most of the Basques were sheep herders, so I don't know why they're in this cemetery. To go back in history, the Illyrian, okay, Croatia, if you can picture in your mind where Italy, so here's Italy, the boot, right next door to it, just to the right, that is Croatia. And you've heard of Dalmatian dogs. Dalmatia is I think a port city, a province of Illyria. And then south of that was Macedon, where you get Alexander the Great and the Macedonians. I don't know. And again, I have no idea how the Macedonians ended up with a Slavic alphabet, the Cyrillic alphabet, or speaking Slavic languages. I don't know that. Again, so anyway, so the more that you learn, the more interesting things there are. So when I said, let's go see this cemetery, you're all saying, God, no, I don't want to go see some old damn cemetery. Well, if you'll study some history and come back here, I think you'll find this a very fascinating place. Thank you very much for listening to me.